What does this award mean to you personally?
To be honest, in this kind of event, this is a very big thing for me. So I'm feeling very great for myself, for my country, and I will say I want to dedicate this man of the match to that people who have sent from Pakistan to back home, Afghanistan. I want to dedicate this man of the match to those people.
Hi everybody, welcome to Qurius. Pakistani security forces rounded up, detained and deported dozens of Afghans who were living in the country illegally. The sweep is part of a new anti-migrant crackdown that targets all undocumented or unregistered foreigners. It affects mostly some 2 million Afghans who are in Pakistan. The crackdown has drawn widespread criticism from UN agencies, human rights groups and Taliban-led administration in Afghanistan. Since the early 80s, Pakistan has been hosting millions of Afghan refugees who fled their war-torn country in search of safety and stability. Pakistan is home to over 4 million Afghan migrants and refugees, about 1.7 million of whom are undocumented. As Afghanistan's neighbor, Pakistan has seen people travel across border for safety for 4 decades, from 1979 Soviet invasion through the more recent return of Taliban in 2021. Over the years, these refugees have established their lives in Pakistan, but the changing political landscape has led to a shift in the government's policies regarding their stay. Pakistani authorities said these sweeps took place in the city of Karachi, Rawalpindi and various southern-western Balochistan area and northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces which border Afghanistan. Thousands of Afghanistans had crammed into trucks and buses and headed to the 2 key border crossings to return home to avoid arrest and forced deportation. According to the UN agencies, there are more than 2 million undocumented Afghans in Pakistan and at least 6 lakh of whom fled after Taliban took over in 2021. In Afghanistan, Zabiullah Mujahid, main spokesperson for Taliban government, expressed concerns over forced expulsion of Afghans, saying that the past 45 years of wars and conflict in Afghanistan had forced millions to migrate. The Afghan migrants have not created any problem in their host countries. He urged Pakistan to stop forcefully deporting Afghan refugees and practice tolerance. Afghanistan authorities have assured that Afghans who are in exile due to political concerns are welcome back and that the Taliban will provide a secure environment in Afghanistan for all. A Taliban delegation travelled from Kabul to eastern Nangarhar province to find solutions for returning Afghans. The authorities are working hard to establish temporary camps. Afghan returnees with families that have nowhere to go can stay in the camps for a month until they find a place to live. The evolving political climate, the Pakistani government has faced various challenges including security concerns, economic strain and social integration issues. Security concerns have become a significant factor in the Pakistani government's decision to deport Afghan nationals. With the rise of extremist element in the region, there is a pressing need to ensure national security and protect the citizens of Pakistan. Tightening border controls has become essential to address these challenges. The relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan's Taliban-led administration have become strained over past 2 years because of the stepped-up attacks by the Pakistani Taliban, a separate militant group that is allied with the Afghan Taliban. The Pakistani Taliban, known as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan or TTP, have found safe havens in neighboring Afghanistan, from where they sneak across the volatile border to launch deadly attacks on Pakistani forces. Since the government deadline was announced on October 3rd, more than 2 lakh Afghans have returned home from Pakistan. Pakistan has said that deportations would be carried out in a phased and orderly manner, and those detained during the crackdown would be treated nicely. However, authorities have already demolished several mud brick homes of Afghans on the outskirts of Islamabad to force them to leave the country. Additionally, economic factors play a crucial role in this situation. The strain on the resource, infrastructure and job opportunities in Pakistan has made it increasingly difficult to sustain a large refugee population. This has led to the repatriation of Afghan nationals as Pakistan aims to prioritize its own citizens' welfare. It is important to recognize the challenges faced by both Pakistani citizens and Afghan refugees. Limited resources and opportunities create a difficult environment for everyone involved. Humanitarian organizations are working tirelessly to support those affected by these decisions, offering aid and assistance to ease the transition. Human rights groups have criticized the deportation policy, including Amnesty International, which pointed out that because of the considerable delays in the registration process, many new arrivals in Pakistan have not been able to obtain recognized identity documents. UNHCR is also concerned that certain group of people, including minorities, journalists, and women, could be at risk. They say they have received assurance from the government officials that these groups will not be forced to return. Despite the criticism, Pakistani government has forged ahead, and last week its interior minister announced plans to open centers around the country to help process detainees before deportation, saying that the elderly, children and women would be treated with extra care. When challenged, the government has pointed out that it is within its rights to follow its own laws. The Taliban government has urged Pakistan to rethink its unacceptable move. The Afghan Ministry of Refugees intends to register returnees and house them in temporary camps, while the Taliban administration will try and find returnees jobs. But there are worries about how thousands of deportees will impact the economy of a country that is already struggling. Afghanistan was pushed into economic collapse when the Taliban took over in 2021, and foreign funds that were being given to the previous regime were frozen. The unemployment rate more than doubled from the period immediately before the Taliban took over. UN agencies say around 2/3 of the population is in the need of humanitarian aid. Afghanistan recently had the earthquake, which is impacting heavily on the situation, and on top of that, winter is approaching, so it is not the best season to have people going back to a country that is already in a very fragile situation. The Taliban government announced an amnesty on those who worked for international forces, but there is still a strong sense of fear about what deportation could mean for many. Earlier this year, a UN report said hundreds of former government officials and armed force members were allegedly killed despite assurance from the Taliban of an amnesty. In conclusion, the deportation of Afghan nationals from Pakistan is a multifaceted issue, influenced by security concerns, economic challenges, and the need to balance the well-being of both Pakistani citizens and Afghan refugees. It is a difficult situation with no easy answers, but it is crucial to approach it with the empathy and understanding for all parties involved. Remember, understanding different perspectives is the first step towards finding peaceful solution. If you have enjoyed this video and found the information valuable, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious. Thank you.